Hi, this is Jason from Sow the Land Podcast, and in today's podcast, the first podcast of 2021, usually it's me and Lorraine doing these podcasts, and I'm hopefully this year we're going to start having more guests on the podcast, just to kind of give a different perspective on homesteading. Keep it, about homesteading, growing food, building stuff, raising animals, and just kind of living this lifestyle. So we hope to do more of guests on our podcast this year, and it's still going to be me and Lorraine doing our separate podcast for sure, but occasionally have a guest on. And in today's podcast, we have Kenny Archer from Life on Beagle Road YouTube channel and Life Crafted with Kenny. In this podcast, we're going to be talking about homesteading. We're going to talk about YouTube. He's making things, he's building things, and just sharing his story. So I appreciate you guys listening and watching for those of you on YouTube, and I hope you enjoy. So Kenny, tell us about yourself for anyone who don't know who you are.
Yeah. So, I'm originally from the city. We live in Pennsylvania, in like central Pennsylvania area, near like the Philadelphia, Harrisburg area, that's like kind of eastern / central, but grew up in a city and lived that city life for quite a while. My wife and I got married, and when we got married, we weren't really into homesteading, building. I don't think I ever picked up a tool in my life at that point. I certainly didn't do a whole lot of gardening, maybe grew some green beans in the backyard. Our yard was literally like this skinny hallway with a back porch. So I just put a bucket on the back porch and grow a green bean, like one green bean plant, not knowing what I was doing. But anyway, Courtney grew up where we live now. It's her family home. But I actually, like you, I don't know if I've even ever talked to you about this, but I had some serious health issues that took me into the hospital. I was in the hospital for like a month, and they didn't really know what was going on with me. But I was pretty close to death. It was scary. Wow. Yeah. My heart rate was so low that like they were worried that something, like I wasn't going to make it. And they couldn't put their finger on what was going on. And it just kind of get worse and worse. No matter what they gave me, it got worse and worse. So after that, like it was like months and months and months of trying to figure out what was wrong with me, what was the diagnosis, yada, yada. And while we couldn't figure it out, Courtney was like, listen, this is what's going to happen. No more going to McDonald's. No more eating the processed foods. You cannot eat all this junk out of a box. And I was like, what? Come on, it's not. Let me just at least have Oreo cookies and everything will be great. But yeah, she like, it wasn't happening anymore. Like we hyper focused on our health, and I went through this kind of like introspection about what I was doing with my life and what was important in life. I struggled with how I was spending my time. So we started to really, pull it all in and get back to the land, I guess you could say, you know what I mean? So we started getting animals and being goat farmers, growing our own food and building our own stuff. It's crazy. It just all took off from there. But honestly, it was more about that relationship with each other and my kids, us as a family. Like it just really started to make more sense to me, Right. So whether that was maturity or circumstances, I don't know, but it all came to fruition.
How long from when you had the health scare and then you decided to like be more healthier to like that process take like till now? Like is that years?
Oh yeah. So, well, first of all, the health scare to healthy was like an hour because Courtney was like, no. For me, a much longer process. No, but that all happened. Oh man, like roughly, let's see, Bridget is 6, so probably about 6 years ago is when we had that first initial scare. And actually it wasn't my first. That's actually the second time I went into hospital with something crazy that I didn't understand. But the first time I was 25 And I was like, this is nonsense. You know, you're a 25-year-old single man. You think you've got it all figured out. You're like, I just ate some bad spaghetti.
Right.
And then you just move on and keep eating terrible stuff.
Yeah.
But it turned out like I had an autoimmune disease. I just didn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't doing anything to really help myself. Stress was like my biggest issue, and I always thought I could handle it, and I probably could, but my body couldn't, you know, physically. But yeah, so it was like 6 years from the last time I had a major flare up, and we started to change things. And it was a slow process, and then all of a sudden it was a quick process, you know.
Yeah.
Like we slowly moved into, let's look at what we're eating. Let's maybe try growing a garden. And then all of a sudden it was like goats, chickens, alpacas, ducks, you know, it's a turkey. It's just it's ridiculous.
It's like it clicks, you know.
It does.
And it just like boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's
I literally, our last video I just put out, I had to reach in a goat and try to figure out how to get this baby out of a goat. I mean, Jason, I grew up in a city. Never in my wildest dream did I think I'd be sticking my arm up in a goat trying to get. It's just. I mean,
like, where did my life go? And then I'm here. Like, how did that happen?
Right? Oh my gosh! Totally. Oh man, it's crazy.
So now you have. When did you start your YouTube channel? So tell everyone about your YouTube channel. What do you guys do on there?
So we have a YouTube channel. It's called Life on Beagle Road, and we started it. Oh man, what was that? 3 years ago, I think. Okay. I don't know. I don't really pay that much attention. I just keep doing it because it's fun.
Yeah.
No, we started. Yeah. So again, like making this connection to family. I wanted to document all these changes. I mean, it was going so fast. What better way to document it than to put it on YouTube? Like, I am a creative guy. I used to be a school counselor for like 15 years or so. And I worked as a school counselor and a mental health therapist for a little while. And I never really I had this creative side of me that just wasn't getting out. You know, I was also a soccer coach. So all my free time was in those areas. So then I decided that making family videos would be a great way to get some creative juices flowing and document what we were doing. And we could look back and be like, oh, look how young we were, which is exactly how I feel whenever I'm like, oh, look how dumb you were is more like it, you know? But yeah, so Life on Beagle Road, been about 3 years or so. And we just document everything we've gone through, good or bad. You know, we like to really look at the failures, so to speak, you know, and how those aren't really failures. That's just how we learn. That's how we grow. And in homesteading or whatever it is that you're doing here, I mean, there's a lot of failure, but it's not necessarily failure. You know what I mean? Like, it really isn't.
It's all
learning a better way, more efficient way, or a way never to do it again.
Right. And so are you the one that mainly shoots the video and edits, or do you guys take turns?
Initially, I was the one doing all of the shooting, all of the editing, all of like the thinking about what's going on moving forward. And Courtney like wanted nothing to do with it. She's like, this is nonsense. And for a good long time, like I could not get her to buy in. She was like, this is just a waste of our time. Like, you want to look at how we're spending time as a family, blah, blah, blah. But then like the goat people came, right? And then Courtney found her people, the goat people. And now it's like a whole nother ball game. Like, she loves it. She grabs a camera, films stuff, but I have to like coax her on like, okay, honey, you can't just stand there and talk about goats the entire video. Like, can you make it a little bit playful and fun like you normally are? So her idea of getting playful and fun is pull out a bottle of wine and talk in front of the camera. Like, that's not the same thing. But yeah, so we kind of go half and half. You know, and sometimes like I get burnout, she gets burnout, you know, like it's rough when you're trying to keep that schedule
Yeah.
going. And
It's
but
tough.
yeah, I do all the editing. She doesn't do any of it. So it's nice that we're sharing the filming and she's getting better at it. But I find myself being like, I need you to do a pre-edit, Courtney. I don't know what the heck you're trying to say in this video. If you could just piece it together, cut out what you don't like, I'll fix the rest. And she's like, oh, fine. But yeah, we've gotten better about it.
Right. Yeah, that's how we started doing that in the beginning, where Lorraine would she would pick up the camera and film herself, like maybe or doing something, and then she would edit herself, so she would edit whatever she films, and then I would edit whatever I film. But then after a while, she did not like filming, she did not like editing, and so now I do it all. Even if it's just her in the video, I film it, because I'm editing it, so it's difficult to edit somebody else's filming.
Yeah, it really is. It
Like,
really is.
what are you talking about? Like, I don't know what you're saying here. Like, it's just super hard. So now I just do the filming and editing, and it's just so much easier that way. Even though it's it's a lot of work, because
right.
I'm doing it all, but it's still tough either way.
No, I totally agree with you. I totally agree. We're terrible at planning the videos. Terrible. We try so hard. We'll make a list, and the list is out the door because she's like, I made this video. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll edit it and get it out.
So do you just like whatever, you're on the fly, you're like not planning it, you just turn on the camera and just see what happens?
Sometimes, yeah. Like we've had a series of videos where like we know what we're going to be doing, and we'll try to like come up with a story. It's good to know what your story is because it's more engaging for viewers. Yeah. But then it's just like, sometimes I'm like, man, we got to get a video. So you just go outside, take camera, and like, whatever it is, there's a lot of videos of what we call coffee with Kenny.
Right.
Where I walk around the yard and I B&C about whatever's going on in the yard, or I'm just catching people up,
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes Courtney will come out, I'll have my coffee, she's got her glass of wine, and we just talk. People, our viewers really, I think, get a kick out of our relationship between the two of us. So we try to, every once in a while, have those videos where it's the two of us just relating, Oh,
that's great. I think people love those videos, the interaction between the couple, between your wife or husband. I think people really enjoy that.
It's a relatable experience for them too, especially if they're also a couple. It's not just about, they don't have to be a homesteader, they don't have to have chickens, but if they've got a husband or a wife, they're like, oh, I know exactly what this is like, So.
Right. So along with you started a second YouTube channel, didn't you? You still doing that?
No. I did have Life Crafted was a second YouTube channel. You and I had gone back and forth about, should I do this, should I not do this? And your points were immensely valid in terms of like, people come here for different reasons and they'll find this content and yada yada. But I still think like if I just had a build only channel, it would do really well. I just think that it wouldn't do the same kind of well. So, when you have a how-to video, it gets a lot of traffic from people who are searching and not necessarily a lot of traffic that builds a community.
Right.
Kind of like 50-50. And I was getting a lot of traffic on those videos on our channel. They don't get as much traffic on that channel. I sort of like pushed some over that way. But the bigger issue really was that I couldn't keep up with a build channel. To do the Life on Beagle Road channel and also a build channel meant that I was doing twice the amount of work that I was already struggling to keep up with.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. It's tough. Yeah. One channel is tough. And then two channels, it's like, oh, man, like,
and project videos are hard to edit and film than to do it well,
Yeah, I know.
Like I'm building stuff, I got my farmhouse table legs over here. I've got a slab, right there. I got this slab right here, there.
Yeah, I've been seeing the Instagram posts
Yeah.
Everything looks nice, man.
Oh, thanks, brother. Like
Um,
it's on fleek right now. It's crazy.
so are you filming that too, or are you just building that
No.
stuff? Yeah.
No. Well, you know how it goes. So like you made all those spoons, right? And stuff for Christmas and the cutting boards. Like you maybe you could film one.
Yeah.
But imagine you're just trying to like that whole process and trying to get it all done in time so that way you can also be successful in your store. It's hard, you know, and I want to like the big slab right there, this long one.
Mhm.
That's actually for a viewer. It's for Little Mountain Life, Don
Nice.
Bradner
Oh,
and his
nice.
wife.
Yeah.
So they commissioned me to make that table for them. And yeah, like I'm looking forward to, sorry, I got a pop-up on the screen. There we go. I'm looking forward to doing it. So I think I'm going to film that one, but then like underneath this thing here is like this like massive ash table, which I wish I filmed.
Yeah.
Because that whole that table, those legs I just showed you, this top, that whole entire table is built from our property. Like the wood was harvested
Oh, wow.
like 3.5 years ago
Mhm.
from this property. It's all fully dried out.
Nice.
And like I completely built it from scratch. No one else has been involved in it. You know, I've had some things where like someone else welded the legs for me. I also did mortise and tenon on this one. So it's like new processes for me. It would have been a great video.
Right.
I wanted to get it done.
I know that's
You know?
another thing because
I got a customer that wants it, you know?
Yeah, it's going to take longer because then now you're filming it, and
Yep.
sometimes you just want to get the project done
Yes.
without getting these other distractions.
Well, and that's when I started doing commissions, that's when I started getting away from filming my builds because like I've got a timeline and filming negates timelines, you know, like you don't get to have a timeline if you're filming
Yeah.
because like everything, like if something takes an hour, it takes an hour and a half to 2 hours if you're going to film it. Because you're moving the camera, get this shot, get that shot, you know, look fancy, get some slow-mo. Like, you know, if you're trying to keep up in the world of YouTube, then it's got to be like quality stuff. And
right, and you're getting paid to make the product, not film the product.
yes, and I'm not going to pay nearly as much from YouTube to film it yet as I am to build it. So until that happens, you know, and I'll get more revenue from the build video. Then but as of right now, it's that customer that's coming at number one priority.
So are you mainly just making things? Is that what you do? Like stay
home? So I should probably go back to my story a little bit, I guess. But I retired from my job. It's a medical retirement because again, my health was so poor and the stress was getting so intense that I was eating through all my sick days, and I started like just being sick. And like what happens is my body gets immensely weak. I can barely move. I still have flare-ups like that. Like yesterday I had a pretty rough day, but like powered through it. But at work, like it started to affect my memory, and I was getting brain fog and I couldn't, you know, keep things straight. And when you've got people telling you things that you need to remember and need to be able to kind of work with parents and teachers and administrators and whatever else, forgetting things causes a huge problem, you know? And I was worried about, what, am I going to get fired from this job? Am I going to face a lawsuit at some point? Like I can't risk this, which was creating a whole nother level of stress, which was creating a whole nother level of, you know, inflammation and flare up and whatever else. And finally, Courtney was like, listen, I can move further in my career if you don't have one. So I was like, wait, did you just say I don't have to work? Is that what you said? She's like, yeah, I think I did. So we actually made that decision. We were flying to Nashville to go visit family, and it just clicked for us. Again, going back to that whole how we were looking at how we were spending our time and you know, going through life and what we were doing as a family, yada yada. But that sort of was what was the background of our trying to make this decision. But yeah, we went 7 months living on a single income on purpose, even though I was still working, because we wanted to see if we could pull it off. And it wasn't easy, but it wasn't difficult. It was doable. We realized where we spent a lot of money that we didn't need to, like we could make our own pizza instead of ordering out all the time. We could not let me go to Dunkin' Donuts on a regular basis that I would be sneaking. Because I do, love my coffee with cream and sugar and my donuts, which I'm not
You gotta
allowed
have
to.
it once in a while. You can't,
Oh gosh, no, I was doing it. Every time I left to go coach, I would stop, get one. And then if it was a Saturday, I would get one on the way there and then get one on the way back. Courtney was like, this is done. You were done with this, Kenny. Yeah. This is nonsense. And I was like, all right, fine. But yeah, so after that 7 months, then I put in for a medical retirement and they approved it. And that's what I've been doing ever since I got here. First, it was just supposed to be do the laundry, take the kids where they got to go, all that jazz. And then there was a local brewery here where I live that asked me if I could make some things. They ran out of money. They were about to open up. And I was cheap, so I didn't charge them anything for it, just the materials, no labor costs. And they posted everything I made. And then all of a sudden I had nonstop, like people, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? And I was overwhelmed. Like at some point I was like, I don't want to do commissions, Courtney. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. This is so stressful. And she was like, okay. Calm down. Just get done what you need to do. And then what I decided is that I do like commissions. I just don't like all the commissions. Like you can say no to stuff, Kenny. Right. I mean, Jason, you wouldn't believe what was coming in to me. Like, can you make this shed that has this lift on it? And then my bikes pop out. And I'm like, no, what? No, I don't do that. That sounds great, but that would take forever. So it's the art of saying no that I've gotten better at now. But I've made about 4 tables lately. So right now I'm the table guy. I used to be the sliding barn door guy. Nice. So I made like a whole bunch of those. It goes in like these cycles. Right. But yeah, every once in a while. The problem is it's all custom, Mm-hmm. Everything's a custom project, and it'll be the first time I've done it. And I don't really know what goes into it yet. I'm just wading my way through it, trying to figure it out. And that's where the stress starts to hit, and I'm not sure if it's going to work out. And
right,
yeah,
it's the saying no thing. It's just
it's huge.
I want to say yes to everything, and I feel bad almost every time I do say no.
Yeah, I hear you.
I think because in the beginning, because you say yes, or at least for me, like I said yes to everything. Like early on, and then now recently I'm noticing that I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that, or I don't feel like doing that, or I don't have the time to do that. So
this is the best answer you can give. You're like, I think I can do that, but unfortunately, like right now I'm probably booked out like 8 or 9 months. Is this something you need right now? And they're like, oh, okay. And then I never hear from them again. So it's not a no. It's like,
right.
Like,
unless they say, yeah, I'll wait. And they're like, oh.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. No, but that's great, man. You have, you have product, you're making stuff, and it's all from, started from that brewery. That's awesome.
It is crazy. I never saw that coming at all. I'll be honest with you. I never saw it coming. And now, like I was telling you before, I'm probably in here 9 to 10 hours a day, just getting it done, trying to get it done, but right. I still want to be in an area like, you make your spoons and your cutting boards and your signs and stuff like that. And I love it. And I'm like, what product can I make? I'm still trying to figure out what that is. And right. I would like to just make the things that I like to make and then sell them,
Yeah. For you. 'Cause I know, I remember. So the only time we've actually like hung out or talked was at Homesteaders of America conference. Right. Every single year. And I remember, I think it wasn't this year because we didn't have one, but I think last year or the year before, I think you mentioned that you had quit your job to me.
Yep.
I know we didn't talk about it much, but I still remember you telling me that. But yeah, I'm happy everything's working out for you, man. And you're doing what you love to do.
Oh yeah.
That's important, especially with all the stress that you don't need.
Oh gosh, no. And you know how it goes. Like your health is your health and your family. That's what you get, you know? And then everything else is just, it is what it is.
Right.
But like, if you lose your health or you lose your family, that's hard.
That's it. That's all.
Something you don't come back from, you
No,
know?
it's so
So,
important. And you don't, unfortunately, like most people don't realize that until one of them
yep.
is,
In
just
jeopardy.
challenges you, like your health, and it makes you rethink your life, and you're like, my gosh, what am I doing?
Oh yeah.
Like
Every time you post something about the surviving cancer or whatever, like, it resonates with me every single time. It was what originally drew me to your channel, and it's your story. It's what probably draws most people
right.
your way, in addition to the homesteading stuff. But like, it resonated with me so well that like it helped to kind of get me through the process. You know what I mean? Like, this guy completely upended his life, moved across the country with his family in an effort to just find balance and peace. And I'm like, I don't even have to go across the country. I could just go outside.
Yeah.
How can I sort of replicate this for myself? And, it was guys like you, guys like Jason from Cog Hill, that really kind of spoke to me. Everybody has their people that they follow on YouTube or Instagram or whatever,
right.
that kind of inspired them. But I looked more for like folks that, like, Jason's entertaining, he's lively, he's funny, he's positive. Yeah. And he's a good friend of mine off of YouTube now. Like, we probably talk every single day. Actually, we do talk every single day. We have like a Facebook chat between my wife, him, and myself, where we just, every day, something silly.
That's great.
It's great. My relationship that I've built with you, like, it's just really helped to make sense of all of it,
Yeah.
So, but I love it.
Any new goals that you have for this coming up year?
New goals.
I know those are hard to think about, because I'm always like day to day. Like, yeah. I'm just surviving the day or the week.
It's so true. It really is. It really is. So we do have some things. I don't want to say that they're necessarily goals, but it's like things that we've, it's like I told you before, you have all these failures that you face when you do the things that we're doing. And then what have you learned from it? And last year, so if you don't know anything about our gardening experiences, they're pretty horrific, like, and terrible. Like, we've grown some terrible gardens. Just either it was a terrible spot for it, or we didn't really know what we were doing. The soil was junk, whatever. But last year we had an immensely successful garden. It was crazy. Like, we relocated our garden to a completely different part of our yard, fenced it all in, put garden boxes in, put good dirt in, everything solid. And then my wife planted 4 billion seeds of, didn't even know what. There were things that there were beans that were listed as magic beans, because she didn't know what kind of bean it was until it started growing. And I'm like, what are these? Like, why are they still here? Like, what's growing? These are supposed to be bush beans, but yet it was crazy. So our goal or plan this year is to, we're not, you watch all these YouTube videos and people are like, oh, we're growing this year, we're growing that this year. And I'm like, why the heck are they growing that? Who eats that? Why would you eat that? What is that? So we're only going to grow the things we like to eat.
Yeah.
We'll grow a couple things that maybe we don't eat a lot of, or we at least want to try, but we're not going to grow a ton of it. Like, radicchio was our new one this year. Courtney has had radicchio before, but I hadn't had it before, but I do like it. Have you ever had radicchio?
I don't think so. What is
Radicchio? Radicchio is pretty good. If I'm remembering correctly, it's like it's a scary looking cauliflower. It's like a spiky cauliflower. I think that's what it was. If not, that's another one we like that we're gonna grow, but whatever. Yeah. I think that's what it is. But it's fantastic. Like, you put some butter and salt, put it in the oven, bake it, gets nice and crispy. Same thing you could do with broccoli if you've never done that with broccoli.
Yeah.
You know, like you're making kale chips, but you do it with broccoli and cauliflower, and it's fantastic. But I'm not doing kale. I do not like kale.
Really? That's my
Oh,
favorite
I can't
thing,
stand
man.
it.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite thing to grow.
Oh, I know. I see it grow it all the time. You're like parading around on your pictures with your
I
kale
can eat
sticks.
kale with everything. I eat kale with everything.
I bet you grind it up and have a juice too, huh?
Yes.
You're like, this is my kale beer.
Yes. Kale
Can't
juice.
do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Oh gosh. I barely like vegetables to begin with. I've gotten a whole lot better with it.
Yeah.
But like I just have a select group of vegetables. I'm like, these are great. Can we just have these? And I will never complain. But Courtney's always trying to sneak like asparagus in there. I can't stand asparagus. I do like it if it's crunchy, like grilled crunchy.
Yeah.
But like when it gets like soft and
flimsy.
yeah, I'm not into that. Stick to what works. Don't grow too much. I think that a lot of this YouTube stuff and Instagram, whatever, it sort of shows people the wrong things sometimes. Like you need to do all of this. You need to have it all because you can and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, you were all trying to make people feel great about gardening and growing and whatever. You know, sometimes just grow what you like. Just grow a little bit of what you like. You don't need to grow so much food that like now you don't even know how to process it all. Because that's the other thing that we don't even, you know, like processing your food is not a small task.
No,
You
it's a
know?
whole other deal. Like canning
Gosh.
and like saving food and freezing
Yeah.
and washing.
Do you can your chicken?
We just started. Lorraine just started canning some chicken this year.
So
Yeah, we're always
never
afraid.
thought I would eat canned meat
Yeah.
ever. But then like Courtney tried to, she's like, look, see this is Campbell's chicken soup. What's in here? Chicken soup. She's like, Kenny, say it. Chicken soup. There's chicken in it. It's in a can. You eat it, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. She goes, this is not as good as this canned chicken that I just canned from our chickens. And I was like, oh, you're right. You know, and like she'll can our chicken. She'll put our chicken stock in there and it's fabulous. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, and it just didn't occur to me that like those two things were basically the same.
It's
Only one is way
it's
better.
a mindset thing. Like
Yes.
you can a chicken that you canned, and you automatically think it's like
terrible.
I want to get sick.
Yeah. Like who would eat that? Like canned beef. You know, I'm like, oh, that's so gross. Oh, you know, but I've eaten beef stew 1 billion times out of a can when I was in college. Like that's
I've had spam. I've had spam.
Right. But I won't touch the canned chicken or the canned beef. Oh, yeah.
I know.
But anyway, my whole point with that was just like canning your chicken is days of work. It's not like done right away. Unless you've got like a whole bunch of boilers or whatever to get everything like it. Like we have pressure pot. I think we have like 3 pressure pots or something like that. Yeah. So we'll pressure cook the chickens because then the meat just falls right off.
Yeah.
But then you got to peel it all off, and then, you know, it's such a process.
I know.
So yeah, just tone it down, stick to a few things, do them well, and then we'll be good. And that pretty much goes for everything here on the farm.
Yes. Yeah.
Not just growing things, but
it doesn't happen overnight. You know, they might see an Instagram, somebody might see an Instagram or a YouTube video and be like, oh my gosh, they have all these animals. I want all those animals.
Mm-hmm.
I want a huge garden, but like they don't see
the brakes,
the years that it took to get there, you know.
And if you rush, then you're not putting the infrastructure in place that makes sense, that's healthy for the animals, and you know, all that stuff. You end up with these dilapidated, and I don't do, neither do you, because I've seen your stuff too, but I don't do dilapidated junk in the backyard. I can't do it. So it's got to be built well. It's got to be efficient. It's got to make sense, because otherwise you're just creating more work for yourself. Like if your stuff's falling apart in the middle of winter or in the middle of a rainstorm, you're running out there to like, you know, patch it up. And I don't want to do that. You know, I just want it to work. I want it to be functional, you know?
Yeah.
I want it to look nice too.
What are you raising as far as animals right now?
Oh, what do we have? That's a great question.
Or what did you do this year? Like on this year, like what did you guys do? You guys do chickens?
Well, what do we have that the township knows about? Or what do we have that
you're allowed to talk about?
This show's over then.
Yeah.
Close window. we have goats, obviously, but we have Nigerian dwarf goats, and we just got some, what are they called? Nubians. So now we have a Nubian doe and a Nubian buck, and I think the buck is actually a mini Nubian, because that's our goal, is to create mini Nubians, which apparently is a thing, Courtney said, in the dairy goat world. We have those. We have 2 alpaca, which serve absolutely no purpose except for their poop. Is fantastic because it's a direct sow poop. You put it right on the soil as soon as it comes out, and it's like, I don't know, it's like magic. It's magic poop, I swear.
Really?
Yeah, it's so, yeah. Well, they're like, balls, just like goat poop is. They're bigger balls. They poop. Oh gosh, they poop in one spot, Jason. Like you create a toilet spot for them, and they'll poop there.
Really?
Not everywhere.
Yeah.
In one spot. So imagine like not having to shovel the stuff out and move it somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just all in one spot. So it's, you just get it from their spot and put it on your garden, and you're good to go. We have chickens, and right now we just have layers because we're not doing meat birds right now, but we will do meat birds, when the spring comes. That's one of our other goals, is we're not doing the raise chickens to sell anymore. We were raising chickens, butchering and selling. That's just silly. We weren't making any money from it. If anything, we were just trying to like get people to start eating better meat. But like, I'll tell you about it. I don't need to do it for you, Right. So it's so much work, what goes into that. So we're only going to do the chickens we need for us for the year. And then that's it. We have 1 turkey. We got 4 to raise because we were going to eat them.
Yeah.
And when we moved them from the brooder to outside, only 1 of them survived the night. Turkeys are incredibly dumb, in my opinion. So they went upstairs to this coop thing, and their food and water was down here. So they went to the top for the night, but couldn't figure out how to get back down. So because they didn't have any food in their bellies or anything, they ended up getting too cold and dying. It's the only thing I can think of. 1 survived, so it's Miss Magoo. She follows me around everywhere in the yard. She's like our mascot, so she will get to survive. We will not eat her. She's Bernice. She's our Bernice.
Yeah. Heck yeah. She needs a t-shirt.
Yes. Well, not really. She's like the opposite of Bernice. She's our Bernice character, but the complete opposite of what Bernice actually is, She's not teaching anybody anything. That bird is so dumb. At the end of the night, instead of going into the coop or the run, she would jump up on top of the laying box that sticks out of the coop and peck at the window to get in. I'm like, what are you doing? Just go in. There's a hole right here. Like it's right beside the window. Nope. She would peck at the window to try to get in. She's so dumb. Funny. Every night for a while, we had to pick her up. She's massive. Like it's this massive turkey. You have to pick her up and put her into the coop because she wouldn't go in.
Oh, wow.
All right. Yeah, and it's not even that she doesn't fit through the hole. She's just dumb. She's just dumb. I love her though. She literally follows you. She's like a puppy dog. If she sees you from across the yard, Jason, she comes flying to you, and then she'll do this thing. She goes, because she wants you to mount her. I'm like, I am not a turkey. This is not happening. Oh,
that's great, man.
Sometimes she won't get out of the driveway, and I've got to leave, and she's literally just crouched ready, and I'm like, no, come on, get up, go, shoot. So, what else do we have? Barn cats. I never wanted cats, and my mom rescued 5 cats and brought them over here. Yeah. This was after we'd already gotten rid of 3 or 4 that found their way here. And the cats, they just keep coming and coming. My girls love them. They're carrying them around like they're purses. And I'm like, the cat's got to go. One or 2 cats is perfect for a farm. It kills all the rodents, keeps things at bay. I walk out in the front porch and it's like a cat party on the porch. They're just all hanging out, waiting for us to come out. Yeah. Barn cats.
How many acres are you on acres?
Yeah, we have 5 acres.
Okay.
And it's kind of a tricky situation here because like our house is like on this slopey hill thing, right? So down here, it gets real wet and flooded, so we can't use too much of it. It doesn't actually flood. We've had some floods, but it's just not ideal for like, say, goats that need a drier area.
Right.
We can't use any of our front yard because technically we're in a residential neighborhood, even though we're not really. We're surrounded by farms and it's very farmy. Actually, our whole property is wooded and surrounded by trees, and you can't even see it really from the road, but nonetheless residential. Can't use the front. So the whole front there is like 1.9 acres, I think, that we can't use.
Wow.
So we only really have, 2-ish or 3-ish that we can use. Plus, if you count the driveway and the house and whatever else, starts to shrink and shrink and shrink. So we're not like you guys over in North Carolina. Would you say it was like the wild, wild west over there? So
Wild West here, man. Like no one cares.
It's not like that here. So we have been looking at land. We actually almost bought land right across the street that was labeled clean and green, which means we can farm there. Mm-hmm. But Courtney literally lost her job at the very same. She got laid off during the COVID stuff, but that happened at the exact same time that the house went up for auction. Prior to that, we definitely could have bought it. It went for very, very, very little, but it was 10 acres, which would have been, 15 acres. It would have been fantastic.
Yeah,
but now we're looking at stuff in Virginia. So I think that's like going to be our retirement situation. Like we'll move there one day. But for now, I think what we thought we would do is kind of use it for vacationing and build on it and clear things out, start creating the infrastructure that we'd like to have and slowly work through the process. But and then eventually we could move there and make a go of it.
Try to do it as slow as you can.
Oh yeah. I mean, right now we live next to a highway. It drives me nuts. Like that's all I hear is a highway all day, every day. And
that's where we're at too.
Well, I think I asked you that once because it looked like the picture. Yeah. It's no fun.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, we're at a point now where we are looking at various places to move to also.
Your home is it's a mobile home, right? So can you take that with you, or are you going to do something different?
No, I don't want to. I'd rather do something different.
Fair enough.
Or
you want to build? Are you going to build your own?
I would love.
Oh man, that's like a whole nother video series right there.
I know. I would love to do that. I've never, that just seems so beyond me. But I would love to do it or try it. But I don't know if that'll happen. But that would, definitely be a goal. I think that would be cool to do. Build something, even if it's just like a tiny home or something like that.
Yeah.
So what are you working on right now? You working on anything? It's besides, I know you got tables going. Is that your next projects?
I'm like going through like, where am I with everything?
Yeah.
So I gotta finish the ash table yesterday after this has been sitting for God knows how long.
Yeah.
There we go. You see it?
Crack?
Yeah. Big giant crack right here in the leg.
Oh,
so, but I stuck is that even coming through real well?
I see it.
Won't come well on the podcast, but
is that
that's a dovetail.
Yes.
So I dovetailed it yesterday. I was so proud of myself because I cut it by hand.
Nice.
And then I epoxied the gap and everything. So today I'll be cleaning that up. But yeah, that farmhouse table is going to get done here in the next couple weeks, or not even a couple weeks, like next week. I have to have it done, I think, in like the next 7 days.
Yeah.
But that'll get completed. Then I'm going to start working on Dawn's table. They get these legs. These are like a welded metal leg.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Flanges or whatever. Everything's massively heavy. I think after that, I just want to make some spoons. Like I got a new carving knife from it was a viewer actually who hit me up. They came to visit. And it was a guy I kind of like made friends with, going back and forth for a while.
Yeah.
And they came out to visit. They were on a road trip. And he brought a spoon carving knife, from Robin Woods. It's like this long-handled uh, hook knife,
Yeah.
and I have yet to be able to use it. I just want to make a spoon. So you started that, by the way. That was all from you. I watched you. I was sitting in my office at work, and I happened to come across the spoon carving video that you made. It's like one of your first ones.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that seems really easy. I'm gonna try that. And I go home and I'm like, that is not easy. Like I'd gotten all the tools or whatever,
Right.
but it was fun. Like it, and you do it differently than I do it. Like, I started doing it your way, where you cut you do a lot of dry wood spoons.
Yeah. Right.
All my spoons are predominantly green wood. So I'll carve it from like just firewood, and knock out the pieces. Thought I had a piece sitting here, but, I'll go out and grab a piece of walnut firewood, split it up, and then carve whatever I want out of it. It's fun. Like sometimes it ends up just being kindling.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I get a lot of peace and enjoyment out of it.
No, that's fun. Yeah. And then, until you need to do a ton of them, and then you're the spoon guy,
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So
I don't want to be the spoon guy. You can be the spoon guy.
I'm the spoon guy.
I do make a lot of things out of leather still.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Some,
I make I have those like those field notes notebook covers,
okay.
and we've sold a lot of those, actually, believe it or not. I didn't think they would be sellers, but they are. And I've had a couple people ask me if I could make bigger ones, and I've made those. But even that, like, I just like to. I don't know. I don't think that's remember I was saying I want the product that I make and sell. I just like doing them. I don't want to dislike doing them. You know what I mean?
And then you're going to be the guy that does those,
yeah,
whatever it is that is. And then it's like, can you picture yourself doing that?
Yeah.
Like a bunch of them over and over again. Like it can get old pretty quick.
Yeah.
And you're creative, and just your creative mind will start to like not enjoy it anymore.
Yep.
Or think it's
you just get
enough.
bored.
Yeah. So just change things up, maybe I don't know, one time out of the year you make a bunch and then that's it.
Yep.
That's how kind of I'm treating like the spoons is like, I don't want to be making spoons 24/7.
Right.
I could. And I could sell them, but at the same time, I don't want to be that person to be doing it all the time. And then so it's like, well, maybe I just do it like a couple of days or a couple of times out of the year. Maybe at Homesteaders America have a bunch. Maybe at Christmas time have a bunch, and that's it.
Yeah,
and be okay with that.
You're like the McRib that you always talk about.
Yeah, right.
It only comes out every once in a while, but everyone gets excited when it does.
Good is back. Yeah.
I think what I normally do is I look at it and I'm already putting myself at that, like, I'm not the spoon guy, so I'm not going to do it. So I won't even start.
Yeah.
I'm just going to make these. But I've gotten better. The leather things, like I'll do what you said. Like I batch them out and I'll make like 10 or 15 of them.
Yeah.
And then I won't make them again for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to. I'll make other stuff, but that's it. Yeah. I think what I've started to do now is, like, I'll make stuff and it's going to be stuff I enjoy making. It's just not going to be like, they're all basically like, I got one of these and then I'll put it up on the website. And I've got one of these and I'll put it up on the website. Right. And if it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not real worried about any of that, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, like, we never did any of this stuff to make money. Like, none of this was ever a livelihood. It's like I told you, like, we make YouTube videos to document what's going on and what's going on with our family. I make stuff because it makes me happy and I enjoy it and I'm getting better at it and people like it. So if you want to buy something from me, great. My prices are probably still like, I don't know, 75% cheaper than everybody else around here, because I don't even know how to price things to begin with. I'm terrible at it. Yeah. But also because I don't need it to survive. The way I look at it is, when I get a custom project, they're paying me to have fun in the shop. So they're paying for the materials I need to make stuff. that's it. So they're going to pay for those, and then they're going to pay a little extra because I have to charge for time. Otherwise my wife will have it, like, why did you do the laundry? You should have gotten paid for that.
And that's it, man. That's I think that's the dream.
Yeah. I'm living the dream.
You're living the dream, man. That's it. You're doing what you want to do. And
I'm a kept man.
That's it.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, I think that's it, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting on this podcast and sharing your story and what you're doing there. Say again how people can find you.
You can find me on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube at Life on Beagle Road. Everything we have is Life on Beagle Road. If you're interested in just following my woodworking journey, I have that it's at Life Crafted by Kenny on Instagram.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I appreciate you, and I hope I could see you in person next year sometime.
Yeah, we need to do a build, man. We need to do a collab build. I'll come out your way.
Yeah.
I can travel, so let me know, and we'll build something fun. We might not get a lot done, but we'll have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, that would definitely be fun, man.
I would have a blast doing that.
Right on, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.